So rope climbing is one of the very best new exercises that I've introduced into my regime, and I think that everyone should be doing it for some pretty impressive results. So rope climbing is something that a lot of people don't think that they can do at home. They think they need to be in a gymnastics hall with a really tall rope, several meters up in the air, and a spotter watching them to make sure they don't fall. While that's obviously awesome, that's not the only way to use rope climbs. In fact, if you use a much shorter rope, you can safely train with this at home and build awesome grip strength, bicep strength, core strength, and work capacity. Yeah. So the way you do this is simply to get a pull-up bar and then get a rope that's say 8-10 foot long, and then attach that to the pull-up bar and then climb up and down that. I bought a rope on eBay that cost about 30 quid, and it came with eyelets ready inserted, and then I just added 2 carabiners to be on the safe side to my pull-up bar and looped them through. My pull-up bar also came with a small hoop, especially for that kind of thing, which obviously is convenient. But if you don't have that, you can easily just tie a rope to a tree branch or around a pull-up bar. That could be one that's in your door frame even. You could even use towels or a bed sheet and tie them in knots. As long as it can take your weight, anything is fair game. Now obviously this is going to be much shorter. It's not going to give you a whole lot of space for climbing really high, but that's fine, because if you're mainly training for strength and grip strength and work capacity, then being able to do just a few reaches with your hands is more than enough. You can climb to the top and then back down, and then to the top and then back down, or you can climb to the top, drop down to the ground, and then repeat, repeat, repeat. This works fine for our purposes, and of course it also means you're going to need to keep your legs up in the air, so you can either be in the V-sit position or you can just keep your legs kind of flailing upwards. Either way, you're going to be training your core this way as well, making it even more effective as a muscle building and a functional strength building exercise. Obviously, if you're doing proper rope climbs as a gymnast or as a Navy SEAL, you'd be using something like the J-hook technique or other methods to clamp your feet to the rope, so it become more of a legs exercise, and you'd be focusing on efficiency, climbing as far as you can without burning yourself out. But because we're actively trying to train our biceps and burn ourselves out, we don't need enough space to be able to use our legs. In fact, it's kind of a bonus that we can't. It forces us to use the harder version of this exercise. And like I said, this is fantastic for your grip strength for obvious reasons. And as you get better, you can increase the thickness of the rope, which will make it even harder on your grip and your forearm strength and everything else. At the same time, it's brilliant for your biceps. In fact, this is often cited as one of the reasons that gymnasts in particular have such massive arms. And if you want to see someone who's got massive arms thanks to rope climbing, check out Ross Edgley. He climbed a rope for the cumulative distance of Mount Everest, and by doing that, he built huge biceps that are huge to this day. And this is also thanks to another advantage of rope climbing. If you only climb up, then it's a concentric only exercise. What that means is you're only contracting the muscle and never elongating it under pressure. Elongating a muscle under pressure is one of the best ways to create micro tears and muscle damage and stimulate hypertrophy. If you only contract the muscle, then you create a lot less damage and a lot less inflammation. And that means you can use huge rep ranges of concentric only exercises and even train it every single day without needing as long to recover, without risking overtraining. Obviously, I don't recommend that the average Joe do this. However, it's a useful tool to have in your arsenal. For most of us, we want to climb back down. We might even want to slow down that descent, because that way we're creating lots of muscle damage and we can build those really big biceps. At the same time, like I said, rope climbing is fantastic for work capacity because you're constantly moving. You can do these for huge rep ranges and you're never letting up the tension because you need to hold onto the rope at all times, even in between reps, using your whole body as well. And yeah, the fact that you're using your whole body is really evident in just how much your abs will hurt from doing this and how much you'll develop your core over time. Because as you climb with the rope, not using your legs, you're going to have to put them somewhere. That means you're using a static contraction with your abs, and in order to swing your body, create the torque you need to use the movement to climb the rope. It's a full body, really functional exercise, and what's really cool about it is it has a real world direct application. You can imagine using rope climbs to scale a building like a ninja, or rappel down it when you're breaking through a roof to stop some terrorists. It's just a really cool, awesome way to train. It's a lot of fun as well, which is what I really like about it. When I'm training with rope climbs, what I like to do is climb up the rope, then climb all around my pull-up bar because it's got multiple attachments, and do things like front levers and maybe a quick one-armed pull-up and things like that, drop down onto the rope and just really experiment with the movement. And that's a really fun way to train. It's really varied and there's a small element of risk, and all this means that, yeah, I really don't get bored when I'm using that kind of training. Of course, this is also a fantastic way to build up to one-armed pull-up, because essentially that's what you're doing every time you reach up the rope. You're holding your weight with one arm. Before we get started though, there are a few safety considerations to bear in mind and a few technique tips. This is really intense on your elbow tendons, and if you dive straight into high volume rope climbs or rope climbs with some kind of added weight, then you're going to really quickly damage your elbows, and this can put you out of action for a long time. So I recommend that you build up that elbow, that straight arm strength before you start doing your rope climbs. You can do this with supinated support holds on the rings or rings turned out push-ups. You can do it with pseudo planche, you can do it with Maltese push-ups, or you can do it with the crow pose or any kind of straight arm training like that. And of course, by introducing low volume rope climbs, just taking it easy to begin with. Really build up to this carefully. If you feel any pain in your elbows, stop immediately. Another tip is to always keep your arms bent. Don't dangle from your arm with a straight arm, because that's a very quick way to injure yourself. At the same time, you should try and have your hands at about face level when you cross over, and twist your grip inwards when you hold onto the rope. This will not only allow you to grip harder and reduce the chances of you slipping down and hurting yourself, but it will also take some of the pressure off of those elbows, thereby preventing injury further. You should always be engaged, always have tension in the arms. This is part of the big benefit of rope climbing, and it will prevent you from hurting yourself. There are plenty of variations you can use if you can't do rope climbs right away. Some easier options are just to hold onto the rope and pull yourself up and down like a strange pull-up. Likewise, you can use wall climbs. If you can install the rope somewhere where there's a wall or a tree trunk, and you can kick your legs against it and scale it like that ninja. These are also great options for mechanical drop sets. Do as much rope climbing as you can, and when you can't do any more, swap to one of these easier variations. As you get really good and it gets too easy for you, then you can introduce a weighted vest, and this really increases the challenge. It's what I've been doing lately, and yeah, I've seen crazy benefits from rope climbing. It's really changed my physique, especially as I haven't been able to get to the gym as much lately, and I haven't been able to rely on some of my old favorites like heavy bench press as much. So I hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments down below if you use rope climbs or what other unusual training techniques or tools you use in your training. Head over to the website for the full article. And also, I'd like to take this opportunity to announce that I am working on an ebook, a massive ebook. It's already 70,000 words long, which is going to also include a full training program. It's called Super Functional Training. Functional training means doing all the things that your body was designed to be able to do. Super functional training means being able to do things that you don't need to be able to do, but are awesome. And at the same time, it also incorporates brain training, a single program for training your body and mind. And it's all laid out, it's all explained, and it also includes descriptions of all the exercises, along with diet plans and recipes and loads and loads of information. So if that sounds cool, then stay tuned. I'll be announcing more about it soon. Lots of people have been requesting this, and that's why I've decided to finally do it. It's also why I've been a bit slow with output on occasion. But if you want to be notified about that, sign up to the Facebook page. I'll leave the link in the description down below. Head over there and I'll be announcing more details very soon. I'll also be giving several people a kind of preview copy for free so they can tell me how they found it, give me any feedback. So if you want to be one of those people, head over there and look out for that post. Anyways, either way, please subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for more content like this, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a ton for watching, and bye for now.